Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are continue working on the backend R validation for user sign up. Alright, so in this last video, we have it done to connect the React front-end app to the backend API REST service. And let me open the file app in MongoDB. Alright, so we have a collection and user. So in the last video, I'm talking about the user sign up, and we have two email, tattoo and tattoo@gmail.com and duplicate. It is a problem. We need to validate the email and make sure this is unique and never duplicate. And another issue, we don't store the passwords as a plain text password, same as the user password to our database. This is a security problem, and in this video we are going to fix two problems. So the first thing we need to do is check email. So right, and it's open. I just open this project on my Sublime Text. As usually we have its API, and this is the Nodejs backend REST service, and this is the app, React app. And React app inside source and component is login. This is the component we are working on. We have an on submit function, and we did validate the form before submit. And in this case, we are going to working on create a new user. So, and here is the function I just connected to backend REST service and create a user. And create a user in import from helper and user is connect to user ACLs and library to post and with user data. So get back to our API. So API we did created a model class and a user, and we initialize this class, and the model should have a name, email, passwords created and updated. This is the time when user created and update. We initialize with init with object, and we pass from outside API and to this class and create, and this connect to our database. We are using collection is a user and insert user with a model with this variable here. So before insert the user object to our database collection user, we need to validate the so I can do this. Alright, this dot validate. Alright, so validate, so I can create a new function equal validate. So the validation exactly we can do return a callback. This callback should be CB, I name its function callback, should be by default equal an empty function, right? So we can try to do this like a last arrow equal an empty. So and we can return by return CB callback and with arrow. Alright, arrow. So when we call to validate function, and we can should have a function with callback should be arrow, right? So arrow. So this function accuse insert to new route to user collection, so should be inside validate. So after validate, we should insert. So we can check arrow here. if arrow dot length equal 0, and that means no more arrow, so we can execute this, right? And otherwise we can do return callback. Inside create it has callback, right? It had arrow callback an arrow or model. So basically we can do this, or simply we can do, right, keep this and if arrow dot length equal, right, so we can do return cb, and we call to create cb and cb and arrow, cb arrow, and the object should be, the model should be null, right? So for temporary tag, I can do this by this arrow with a arrow should be the Mattis, for example. Email isn't as this, right? Do this, and so when we do create, let's make another test. So we do have this open Signup. Alright, you need to open our console, or even we can do by user postman, make the tag. So for now we can do let's name one, right? The passwords. Alright, so I will fill the name, and email should be tagged to. So email should be tagged to @gmail.com, and the password 1 2 3 and 4, 1 2 3 and 4, and it's sign up. The sign up, so you can see an error return and the file with the error codes. So when change the network, you can see the port return an error which create a new account. So what's up? So let's take our router. When we call to router, we have a port create a new user. We check if error, so we return an error create a new user account. So what's up if I return this? The Mattis can do error. So okay, so I can check by this, by if error Mattis, or simply we can do the Mattis, for example. Now let's Mattis equal an array. So alright, so we can do load that function by user h. Alright, arrow Mattis dot put Mattis dot put arrow dot Mattis arrow dot Mattis. Alright, so we can call back an arrow should be narrow the Mattis. So or simple Mattis. Okay, so look at, or I want to do this. So Mattis, or even this, I'm going to use the load that function. It's lodash.com, and should be document, and should be implode, should be okay, should be the zone. So I'm going to zone Mattis. So let's copy that, go back with the zone. Alright, Mattis with, oh, let's check document. Alright, so far so good. Okay, so now we have a callback at the message string, and inside router I'll check this by Mattis and arrow, or I can do by simply return arrow. Okay, so now save that and we wait for server restart. Now one more time I hit select cloud that, and in our console we can clear that, and now I hit more time. So check our network. So we have a port return. Now you can see an aromatic equal email either access, right? So for example, so now I can do, and one more time equal, for example, matches passwords to source like that. So we wait for server restart, and now one more time I clear that and hit sign up button. Let's see, and check out this. Now you should see our email is the access and password to source, right? So the validation function is working. So now this validate. Right, so before validate, so now the first thing we need to do is so now we need to change the password. So first we need to change passwords. Course model equals this dot model. Now we do if passwords. Sorry, this model dot passwords dot length equal less than 3. So now we can do arrow dot puts. So now it's basically the arrow should be an empty array. So that should be an empty array. So by default, so no more arrow. So we need to change the passwords. Alright, if change passwords, this put arrow. Arrow crystal mattis, object mattis. Passwords the to source. Or can you passwords should more than 3 character. Okay, so that's alright. So the next thing, one more time, if we need to check in our database is the email, right? So we can do that by cost. So we do cost model cost db equals z.app.db. So I can db.collection. Now we are using collection user dot file. The files actually we do in query. So we can do cost query equal request result an object. So query, right? Query and okay, those limits 1 to array. Okay, so the query now we can check by email equal this model. This model dot email to array should be arrow results. It should be in there. Alright. So we can console those log arrow results. Alright, so basically I want to give a password to source. So it's search 1 2, and so make sure in our backend server is a restart. Now it's one more time. Alright, I need to save that. Hit save that, and the server should be restart. Alright, now it's restart, and so need to clear the console, and now hit sign up. Alright, so no, it's sign up. Alright, password is too short because we have a front end validation. So I want to change a bit by less than try that than 3 less than or equal 3. So now we can make sure we pass. Alright, sorry, should less than or equal, should less than 5, because we need to make a front end is a part of the validation. So one more time, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So now it should be part and submit. We can able submit it, and in our report should be the password in should more than 3 characters, and we check out the console, and in our console you should see that we console log an error and results. So we have an error equal null, that's no more error when we do query to find in our database. So the result is call back an array of object equal tattoo email.com. So what happened if I remove 3 objects? This is a tattoo, right? So one more time I hit, let me clear console and hit sign up. Now you should see only passwords is no more the password validation, and now it's take our console, and we should see null on an empty object. So that means this email equal good, ready to submit. Right. Okay, so now we can do if error or alright results dot length is less than 0. So we can do arrow dot put a new method, right? Email is at this, right? Do email at this. Okay. Or actually you can do this. Alright. Or I think you can do by create a new function by so we can do find user by email. Alright, I can do that. So we have an email, and the next variable should be callback. Right, callback should by default an empty function. So let me copy this. Right, so we can copy that. So find user by email, and in this case we can do return callback, right? Callback function with error and results, get results. We only get the first item, so actually you can do this 0, right? The first item of an array. So now we can do this by this dot. Okay, so make sure to do this dot equal this by this. Okay, so one more time in this dot find user by email, and the email, it should be first param email, and the email, right? So by default, I think give it null, and the callback will be an error or user. So if error or user, right? So basically, you can do if it's default by null, right? So if user error, so that means we should be error. Now with error push new item, Mattis should be email, right? Already exists. So like that, and so we do by return cb error. Okay, so we don't do this anymore. So in our validate the basic, the first thing we need to validate the passwords. All right. So so one more time I give is back less than 3, and same as the front end. And the next thing we need to check a email address. All right, and we save to our database. So now one more time is test. And so let's check our database. We have only 2 items. It's tat1. And now what happens if I change to tat1? Right, tat1. So hit sign up. Now you should see. Alright, db, sorry. Alright, db. Alright, so we do course db equals this.app.db. So my mistake with. Alright, one more time. We wait for the backend restart. And now we hit sign up. Okay, I should clear that and hit sign up. So you should see. Alright, query. Alright, my music anymore. One more time, the query should be query. Alright. Okay, so now it should work. Clear console. Now hit sign up. Now model. So let's copy that. Alright, sorry. So you don't need model anymore because email, this should be from the parameter. Should be with email from parameter. Okay, stay with that. Clear the console. Now hit sign up again. Alright, we should see email already exists. Okay, so cool. The password is correct because it's the same. Right, one more time. If I change to tat2, right, name tat2 as well, and hit sign up. Now you should see equal 200 code. That means it's successful and should be return a user object with ID and create time. Okay, so I refresh MongoDB. Now you should see tat2. Okay, so one more time, if I hit the same email tat2, hit submit. Now you should see the validation email already exit. So we can use this error message and show up to the user in the form, but I think we can do is next video. So we did validate for duplicate the email address. This worked. And so one more time we need to check about passwords. The passwords I never recommend to use a plain text password from user and save our database. This is the security problem. So in this video I'm going to use a BC script, and this is third party and script password. So we need to install it. So follow the document. I will say the first thing we need to do equal inside app change to API. So npm install and save. B script. So the B script is already installed. So need follow the document, and we need to do equal. This is compare passwords after again says. So scroll down, so we see at again search. Comparison. Alright, so this key shuts route. So right, this is the function we need to do. So let's import the B script first. So in our user object, we can do import from. So now we have to encrypt password before create new user. So we can do this. Alright, so model. So I'm going to modify this. Let's model. Model.password equal. So we are going to use this hat equal complaints password. Now in course hat just a simple new password. Okay, you can do has password. So in start route should be, now we do start route, we should be moved to top. So we do course article 10 and plain text password should be right model.password. This is user password input. So model.password, so now it's become to new passwords, should be hash password. Okay, so right, so I think this is enough. One more time, wait for the server restart. Okay, now it's restart. Alright, so I will change the tab 3 and tab 3 the password equal 1234 and 1234. So now one more time hit submit. Okay, hit submit and save. Now the password become like this. Alright, so let's check out in database so to see that. Write the passwords, email and password. Okay, so far so good. So now the password in see our database. This is very security, and we don't store passwords like this before we do that. Okay. So when we have a sign up form, and the next video we go into the it goes sign in, but we enter the email, the passwords, and we compare the passwords by doing this function. So next video. Okay. See you in the next video. Bye for now.